Battle Through the Heavens, Grand World. Chapter 246 Wanling City. The Myriad Spirit Prefecture was adjacent to the star-severing mountain range. It could be considered a famous prefecture. It wasn't only because 10,000 years ago, the biggest sect in the Myriad Spirit Prefecture was wiped out after entering the abyss of the star-severing valley. It was also because this was the closest prefecture to the Yunluo Academy, one of the four great academies in the star domain. After the Myriad Spirit Prefecture was the so-called capital of chaos, and the Yunluo Academy was located in the center. The size of the capital of chaos wasn't inferior to any of the big prefectures. Although there wasn't a single superpower in the capital of chaos that could truly dominate the world, there was a complicated relationship between the major powers. There were many hidden dragons and crouching tigers. In the capital of chaos, there were countless gangs. After many years of conquest, they had become the name of chaos. In the capital of chaos, there were countless experts. It was said that the leader of the gang was the number one genius, the sky-burying combatant. He had reached the monarch cultivation, and his name was well known throughout the entire star domain. He was also known as heaven-surmounting monarch, and he was incomparably domineering. All of these had been heard by Xiao Yan on the way to Myriad Spirit Prefecture. As a famous place in the star domain, the Yunluo Academy was located in this place, like a lotus that had never been stained by mud. Furthermore, the environment there was undoubtedly the best training ground for the students who spent most of their time studying in the academy. Among the chaotic crowd, a small portion of them had a huge conflict with the Yunluo Academy. The leaders of the big sects that were ranked in the front were slightly acquainted with the dean of the Yunluo Academy. They wouldn't bother to attack the students. The weaker disciples would become the practice stones for the students of the Yunluo Academy. Of course, whether or not they would become the trainees or the trainees, they would become the practice stones for the students of the Yunluo Academy. It all depended on their own abilities. In the vast Myriad Spirit Palace, across the star-severing mountain range, there wasn't a sect called the Shao Clan. It was a huge sect known as the Myriad Spirit Sect. It was said that the founder of the Myriad Spirit Sect was a personal disciple of the sect master who had been annihilated in the abyss. Initially, he didn't go with them because of his injuries, but he didn't expect that he would be able to survive. After arriving at the Myriad Spirit Palace, Xiao Yan didn't stop at all. He headed straight to the capital of chaos. With the transportation array in each city, Xiao Yan soon passed through more than half of the Myriad Spirit Palace and arrived at the capital of the Myriad Spirit Palace, Myriad Spirit City. Myriad Spirit City was also very far away from the capital of chaos. Just 3 cities away. During the period of rushing, Xiao Yan also calmed his heart down and studied the few secret arts Jade Fairy left behind. However, every time he cultivated, he would feel extremely uncomfortable. The yin qi that had just gathered in his body. When he touched the origin monarch key that contained the monarch flame, it instantly dissipated. Xiao Yan searched his entire body but found nothing. He could only helplessly put it aside for the time being. The Xiaoao within his body seemed to have gradually recovered after nearly half a month of traveling. Although the injuries within his body were still quite serious, it was already much better than before. Find a place to stop after arriving at Myriad Spirit City. You can't waste that earth fire profound crystal beast. It is a big fellow that is about to advance to a high-grade heavenly beast, and it is also a metal-attributed heavenly beast. As for the white tiger, it is metal. Extracting the essence energy in its body might be able to increase the power of the white tiger arts. The Xiaoao swallowed the broken eggshell in large gulps, and the sound rang out in Xiao Yan's mind. When he heard the sound of chewing, Xiao Yan could think of the former, and the painful expression on his face right now. After listening to the Xiaoao's words, Xiao Yan nodded his head. With the consciousness of the Xiaoao in his previous life, he could only listen to it. But don't hold too much hope. This big guy doesn't even have the strength of an emperor cultivation. He can only slightly strengthen the white tiger arts. It's impossible for him to directly advance a grade. Pausing for a moment, the Xiaoao lazily said. Hearing this, Xiao Yan let out a bitter laugh. He didn't take the blow of the Xiaoao to heart. The Four-Spirit Emperor technique was a legendary cultivation technique, even if he had the incomplete version of the technique. Xiao Yan was very clear about this point. But you don't have to be too sad. The power of the 5 forms of white tiger is gradually increasing. Even if it doesn't increase much, the power of the last technique can't be underestimated. The Xiaoao bit the eggshell in its hand and said vaguely. Xiao Yan pondered for a moment and nodded his head in understanding. If the power of the first style of the 5 styles of White Tiger was 1 and the power of each style was doubled, the power of the strengthened first style would be counted as 1 point, and the third style would be much stronger than before. Myriad Spirit City. As the capital of a prefecture, its prosperity was naturally irreplaceable. Xiao Yan, who had been walking in star-severing mountain range for almost half a year, couldn't help but feel amazed. There were 3 big families in Myriad Spirit City, and one of them was the Zhao family where Zhao Qingshan lived. When Xiao Yan found out that Zhao Qingshan belonged to the Zhao family, he couldn't help but have another thought. This old man had long regarded him as a thorn in his side. After the competition in Profound Yin Castle ended, he had never heard any news about this old man, and didn't know where he had gone. Naturally, he had to be more careful in Myriad Spirit City. Even if he had advanced to the 6th Dao Monarch Spirit, he would still have to face a Monarch Emperor warrior. Hong Long. After entering Myriad Spirit City, Xiao Yan walked around the city a few times and bought some of the things he needed. During this period of time, he naturally saw a few men and women in brocade robes with extraordinary expressions. From the conversations of the passers-by, Xiao Yan knew that these people were all disciples of the 3 great families of Myriad Spirit City. In Myriad Spirit City, there were some bored people who ranked the young generation of the 3 great families on the prodigy roll. Although this prodigy gang didn't receive the recognition of the 3 great families, most of the people in Myriad Spirit City were still interested in it. This prodigy gang was hung high up on the stone monument in front of the city lord's mansion. The annual competition in the city was the time for the prodigy gang to revise. Xiao Yan also came to the front of the city lord's mansion with great interest to watch the so-called Junji gang. When the Profound Yin sect held the competition, almost all of the young geniuses of the star-severing mountain range were gathered there. He just didn't know how the young geniuses of the 3 families in Myriad Spirit City were compared to the young geniuses of the star-severing mountain range. In the Excellence Gang, the genius of the Zhao family, Zhao Shuo, who was brought by Zhao Qingshan to the competition of the Profound Yin sect, was naturally listed on the list, and his ranking wasn't low either. He had reached the 4th place. The 1st place was also named Zhao Peng, and the strength of the latter was clearly indicated at the back, 6 Paths Emperor. 6 Paths Emperor wasn't weak for a young man. He didn't have a very strong talent. Reaching the Emperor realm at such a young age was simply unimaginable. Even if it was Yin Kang. He was only a 2-Path Emperor. However, the strength of the latter might not be able to defeat him even if he was a true Monarch Emperor. If the strength on this ranking list was the true strength of the youth generation in Myriad Spirit City, then it would be too weak. Xiao Yan looked at Zhao Shuo's name and narrowed his eyes. This guy's strength was written in 8 Monarch Spirit. However, Xiao Yan knew that in the competition of Profound Yin sect, this fellow had used the Pure Heaven Staff technique to put him in a deadlock. In fact, even an ordinary monarch was no match for him. If that was the case, then the number 1 Zhao Peng thought that he would be able to fight a peak of Monarch King. Shaking his head, Xiao Yan turned around and left. Towards the so-called 10,000 Spirit City's Young Excellence Gang, he was only fooling the ordinary people. How could a true powerhouse expose his true strength to a list? He found a comfortable hotel. Xiao Yan directly moved in. With the large sum of money that Jade Fairy sponsored, Xiao Yan naturally did not care about such a small amount of money. Dong. After entering the room and in the garden, Xiao Yan waved his hand and the earth-fire profound crystal beast's corpse appeared on the ground. Even after such a long time, his body was still emitting a strong murderous aura. Swoosh. A purple-colored flame flew out from Xiao Yan's body. The Xiaoao immediately appeared in the courtyard. Its small face was still somewhat pale. It glanced at the earth-fire profound crystal beast's corpse and kicked it twice in a somewhat relieving manner. In order to kill this big fellow, it had burned the essence blood in its body as the price and had nearly injured its foundation. Seeing the Xiaoao's childlike performance, Xiao Yan couldn't help but shake his head and smile bitterly. "You are so arrogant, humph." The Xiaoao pouted, then chuckled and rubbed his hands together. "All right, let's dissect the corpse now. Although this big guy is weak to you, his entire body is a treasure." Hi guys, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.